So here I am at the Show Low Airport, Show Low, Arizona. Just drove in my Ford F-150, and this is where I keep my Toyota Tacoma. For when I fly in, I have a vehicle. This time I drove because I was bringing a lot of stuff out, but I'm going to get the Tacoma out and drive it around so it gets a little exercise, keep the battery charged, make sure the tires don't dry rot, all that. And speaking of the tires, I got 4 good tires. When Leslie and I came out here last year, we found it with 2 flat tires because I'd run over some nails at some point. So got 4 good tires, so that's great. They might need a little air. It's been sitting here, I think, since October. So, yeah. So I got to get the battery reconnected and get it fired up and transfer some stuff over from the Ford and put the Ford in its parking place, and then I can drive this around for the next week and a half. My good old 2006 Toyota Tacoma that lives out here now. Almost 200,000 miles on it, still going strong. Okay, let me get to work and get this thing on the road again. Aha, it's alive! It's alive! Ready to go. I just got to transfer a bunch of stuff over and I can take off. Yeah, the old Tacoma. She's 16 years old. Hard to believe, 16 years since I bought her back in 2006. Yeah, think about that. When did I buy it? 2006. It's still in such good shape. They really built them good back then. The topper, which I got at the same time, is it's got issues. It's about ready to be replaced or scrapped. But the Tacoma itself is still in great shape. It's got, what is it, like 185,000 miles on it, coming up on 200,000, and it's going strong. Let me tell you, I get this thing out on the highway, and it just wants to run. I have a hard time keeping it below the speed limit. And it's tough. I take this places, you would not believe some of the roads I've taken this place on, and some of the off-road places I've taken it. Places where I wouldn't even want to be able to walk. This thing has got me there. And it's tough, too. This rear bumper, that is solid steel. About a year after I got this, brand new, somebody rear-ended me. A guy in a Grand Am rear-ended me. The whole front end of his car was destroyed. I'm sure his insurance company totaled it. There was a dent in the bumper. That's it. There was just a dent in the bumper. And his insurance company bought me a new bumper. A new all-steel bumper. So they built them tough back then. I got a friend who has a 2016 Tacoma, right after, I think that was the model year after they redesigned it. It's all plasticky. He's had a few minor fender benders and it's done a lot of damage to it. So this thing's just indestructible and I love it, Sometimes I kind of wish I'd kept it home and brought the Ford out here and left it out here in Arizona. But actually, the big Ford is a little more practical on the farm when we got to move big stuff. Yeah, the only real issues I have with it are the headlights going yellow. I've had them polished up a couple of times, but the UV light up here in the mountains just, they go yellow again in no time. Don't know how many times I could do that before the plastic gets really thin and wears through. Hard to say. But man, she just drives like the day I took it off the showroom floor. Just hard to believe that it still runs so well. You can't kill a Toyota, let me tell you. Yeah, these old Tacomas are tough. I don't know if any of you out there are real gearheads, maybe seen the old Top Gear special on the Toyota Hilux and how indestructible it is. I'm talking old Top Gear now, not the new Top Gear, which is, as we all know,
rubbish.
I've seen some Toyota Hiluxes. They seem to be like the Tacoma version that Toyota sold in Asia and Africa and Europe. So I've seen some on my trips around the world, and they look a lot like the Tacoma. I think they're fitted with small diesel engines, though, instead of gasoline engines. And otherwise, they look pretty much the same as a Tacoma. So, that the Hilux is utterly indestructible, as the guys on Top Gear figured out. Yeah. So check that out if you can stream it somewhere, the old Top Gear Toyota Hilux Special. And these old Tacomas, they're just about as tough, I would say, if not just as tough. So, I don't know if I'm holding the camera steady enough. A quarter mile away from me out there, there's 3 elk. I'm up in the mountains, up in the White Mountains of Arizona. Drove the old Tacoma out here. I love cruising these back roads in the mountains. Still got some snow up on the peaks over there. North facing slopes, still got some snow. This lake over here is full of snow melt. It's dry by the end of summer. And just about every time I come out here, when it's not hunting season, I see elk. You can't find one during hunting season. They know. Somehow they know. But when I come out here, it's not hunting season. I almost always find elk out here in the mountains. They're pretty oblivious to me at the moment. Let me see if I can get a little closer without spooking them. Okay, I crept up into the trees. The one is looking at me. I think he knows I'm here. The other 2 are still oblivious. The wind is not blowing towards them, so they can't smell me. And I think with all the wind noise, they probably can't hear me, but he may have seen me move. So he's sort of... Now all 3 of them are alert. Alert to something. Not sure it's me, though. The other 2 are looking off in another direction. And the closest one is turned around. Maybe they just decided to move on. Well, I'm not going to try and get any closer to them or bother them. I'll let them go on their way, do their own thing. Got about 7 months till hunting season, guys. Enjoy life. Yep, let them go on their way. Yep, the old Tacoma, 2006, a little long in the tooth, a little beat up around the edges, but I'll tell you what, even at close to 200,000 miles, it still gets me out here on these rugged Mountain 2 tracks to wherever I want to go. It's an off-road beast. Got the skid plate package on it and everything. That's saved my life a few times, I'm sure, in the oil pan and the transfer case and all that. So while I'm up here, I'm going to do a little more exploring, see what else I can see. Maybe I'll find some more elk. Well, the tailgate of the old Tacoma is serving as a workbench right now as I work on my solar power system here for the cabin. So I've been totally revamping this. There's going to be a video about how I've revamped the solar power system here. So if that video comes out first, I'll put a link to it in this video about my beloved Tacoma. So these are the sorts of roads I need my Tacoma to get me down out here around our ranch. Now this is actually not too bad. I think the badly rutted mile of gravel road I had to take to get to this dirt road may have been worse. Yeah, I'm not even in four-wheel drive, so this isn't too bad. But when it's raining, this all turns to mud, of course. And sometimes you come across soft sand, too. So it can be a little treacherous out here. Now that the Tacoma lives out here in the back of Beyond in Arizona, on these gravel roads 30 miles or more from the nearest civilization, it's very important to be able to self-rescue when you're out here. Lots of things can happen. Your battery can go dead. You can get flat tires. You can get stuck in the sand or the mud. You got to be able to self-rescue, because getting help out here, I mean, sometimes you don't have a cell phone signal. If you do have a cell phone signal, you know, it's going to take forever for a tow truck to get to you. If you can even describe where you are, because there's a whole lot of nothing out here. And if you can describe to the tow truck driver where you are, that's kind of amazing sometimes. So I carry a lot of stuff in the Tacoma for self-rescue, okay? Some of the basics, well, this is for when I store it. I put some stable in the tank. But, you know, I got a couple of cans of Fix-A-Flat. Just trust me, you won't ever have just one flat tire. You'll have two. I got a shovel here, short-handed shovel, to help me dig out if I get stuck in the sand, which has happened a couple of times. Oh, that's where my wasp spray went. I need to keep that out. That doesn't belong in the truck. I just got some bungee cords in here for just bungeeing stuff in the bed so it doesn't move around. That's not really self-rescue stuff. It's a windshield wiper cleaner. I've got a 12-volt air compressor for reinflating tires, and this came in really handy. The Fix-A-Flat and the air compressor came in really handy last spring, when Leslie and I flew out here and flew into the airport in Sholo, where I parked this thing, came out into the long-term parking, and found it had two flat tires because I'd run over some nails. So between the Fix-A-Flat and the air compressor, got us on the road. And then a couple days later, I was able to get in and get the tires fixed. They held up long enough for that. You know, it's a very small town. There's no Uber. It was late at night. Can you imagine what a tow truck would have cost? Plus, we wouldn't have had a vehicle. We still had to get to our hotel, get out here. So, you know, being able to self-rescue is important. So, got to have the Fix-A-Flat and the air compressor. Got a little lithium-ion jump pack for in case the battery's gone dead. And speaking of batteries, I need to replace that battery because it's getting pretty old. It'll fail eventually. I also carry a toolkit in the Tacoma. Now, this is not just useful in case something breaks when you're out on the road. It's useful to have here around the ranch. So, yeah, I reached for this yesterday for a project I was working on. It's a pretty complete toolkit. Got a lot of the essentials that you need, you know. Let's see, the last time I was out here, I was having a little trouble with it not wanting to start. Well, just the battery cable was loose, but you know, I can tighten it down right there on the road and be on my way. So yeah, being able to self-rescue out here is very important. So keep that in mind. Now, not just a Toyota thing. It's no matter what you're driving. If you're driving out here, you got to be able to self-rescue, okay? You got to have the essentials just to keep yourself on the road and get yourself home. So, yeah. Shovel, air compressor, Fix-A-Flat, jump pack, some tools. That's sort of at the minimum. I could make a whole long list of things that would probably be helpful too. But that, at a minimum, that's a good start. Well, it's kind of bittersweet. The old Tacoma's leaving the ranch for the last time on this trip. I'm headed for the asphalt, a couple miles away. Gonna drive back to Sholo and park this thing back in long-term parking. and it'll be there the next time we come into town, which we should be flying in next time. So, yeah, a lot of gravel road between the ranch and the asphalt. A couple of decent gravel roads like this, then a really rough gravel road, and then a really rough dirt road. That's what you got to take to get to my ranch in Arizona. Keeps the riffraff and city-fied cars out. Anyway, like I say, a little bittersweet. But I should probably pay attention to my driving. Another mile or so I'll be on the asphalt. Then I got about 50 miles of that to go to get to the airport, with a couple of stops along the way. Well, here I am back at the airport, long-term parking. I got to transfer all this stuff into the back of the Ford over here. I try to maximize my trips into town, so I refilled a propane tank, refilled my water jugs, did laundry. The back seat of the Tacoma is full of clean laundry. Stopped at the store, so I've got a bunch of supplies in there. It's all got to be transferred over to the Ford, and then I can store this until we come back out later this year. Okay, I got the Tacoma back in its assigned parking place. Transferred everything over. I'm going to put some Sta-Bil in the tank. The tank is full, by the way. I filled it up, and it's a good idea to do that because there's less air in the tank that way. So any moisture in the air will condense out into the gas in there over time. So by getting your tank as full as you can get it before you park it, for a while, you're going to minimize the amount of condensation you'll have in the tank. Now, I'm expecting to be back out here in only a couple of months, and it's not going to get really cold during that time, although it'll get chilly at night. But still, I always put the Sta-Bil in. I always fill the tank up first. Works for me. This thing starts right up when I get back. No issues. Runs like a champ. Yeah, I've almost got like a pilot's checklist. Okay, I've got the sunscreen up behind the windshield there. I used to cover the whole truck. I have a cover for it. And I used to put it on, but every time I come back here, no matter how securely I would attach the cover, no matter how securely I'd tie it down, it would always be loose and flapping in the breeze. The wind here just is hurricane force. And it's not just by Tacoma. Every vehicle out here that would be covered, I'd come out here, all the covers would be flapping in the breeze. So I gave up on the cover after a while just because it wasn't working. So sunscreen's all it's getting. One last little job here. First off, let me lock it. Okay, it's locked. Now I'm going to disconnect the battery. I got one of these little battery disconnects on the negative side of the battery, and I can always tell whether it's disconnected or not by using the fob. Yep, it's not unlocking. It's disconnected. Okay. So that way the battery won't run down. The computer in here stays powered up. The battery won't run down now during the months this thing's in storage. So, see you later, Tacoma. Couple months. We'll fly in next time. And should be sitting here waiting for us. We just got to walk out of the terminal, throw our bags in, and we're off. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video, this little A Boy in His Truck, a love story video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, ask questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.